What's up, guys? It's Meregali here, and today we are going over half guard top pressure. So I broke down that technique with different concepts and small steps that you guys have to respect every time you guys are facing someone from top half guard. So how to control the hips, how to control the shoulders, how to break shields, how to break frames, how to use head position, how to build up underhooks, overhooks, and setups that are very helpful during this process. Not only the technique by itself, but the concepts that we have behind half guard. So I'm very happy and excited to teach this instructional for you guys. And I'm pretty sure and I can guarantee you guys will change your perspective every time you guys face half guard again. So take a look, enjoy it, and let's learn together. What's up, guys? So here we have, it's gonna be more an overview about how we're gonna learn half guard in this instructional, and I'm basing this way of teaching half guard from a private class that I had weeks ago, and I had a lot of success. I know it can sound weird, but I had one private. This guy was there together. And I also tried the same approach in class, and my students, they got learn more, not better, it's not the word better, but I got to be more clear to my students when I use the same idea of explaining half guard, and I want to use exactly the same approach in this instructional video. So what I did in that private, so I had a guy, brown belt, flying from where? Mexico?
Motherland,
yeah,
Mexico.
His land, Mexico. And brown belt, he moves well, to be honest, for his age. Apparently he knows jiu-jitsu. And he asked me about half guard. Like first day we had open guard, and second day we had half guard pressure and also mount. And he was a little lost about frames and shields, how to beat legs and arms in that situation, how to close the distance, get chest to chest, and then progress from there. And what I did in class, I'm not sure if it was just like so peaceful that I just broke down things so precisely, but I started the class, the private, teaching him the smallest concept possible. I just spoke about hips, and then I just spoke about shoulders, and then I just spoke about underhooks and head position, and that way I was building up the half guard. And what I realized during the class was like, he had knowledge enough to pass half guard, but I add to his game concepts that, because I was making all the ideas behind half guard like really small, it was easy for him apply on his own way, facing half guard and drilling with Fernando. So, and I'm using exactly the same approach right now for this DVD. And I'm going to have the first, it's going to be a section. And the first topic is going to be flattening hips and getting chest to the hips. Second topic, flattening the shoulders and getting chest to chest. We flat the shoulders and why we flat the shoulders to be effective from half guard. We have also a topic where I wanna talk about body posture from top, how to generate pressure, how to make the body heavier from top. We have shields, how to deal with shields. We have frames, how to deal with frames. We have head position. This is a very important point. So we're gonna talk about head position underneath the armpit, outside shoulder, inside shoulder, head position on chest, head position on shoulders, how to fight frames with head position as well. So those small things that could be very helpful throughout the instructional. And the last topic and concept that we're going to talk about is crossface control, because we have different ways to apply crossface. And I wanna talk about those concepts step by step with no rush, just to after we go over those concepts, we're going to be able to learn techniques from half guard how to go into mount, how to go into the back, how to apply pressure chest to chest, how to build up underhooks in a easier way instead of, okay, so we have here traditional half guard crossface, and then I would, if I don't explain the concepts before, I would be forced to explain everything step by step, and I would maybe not let you guys be creative in this world that is half guard, because half guard is pretty easy to pass and generate pressure if you respect that those concepts about flattening hips, flattening shoulders, build up a good crossface, use your head position, and fight for underhooks. This is pretty much what we do when we are inside half guard, stop position, of course. And this is why I'm breaking down everything step by step, like baby steps for real. And I know that once we get into the techniques, first one, traditional half guard passing underhook control, I'm gonna barely explain this technique. Of course, I'm gonna do my best. I'm not saying I'm not here explaining because this is my work, but what I wanna say is once you guys get there, because we went over concepts before, it's gonna be easy. So we're gonna be there and you guys, okay, so I have to flat hips here. I have to flat shoulders there. I have to get my cross facing here. And this is what we were speaking before, sorry. We were talking before the instructional video, before we start filming. So jiu-jitsu, you have to beat the body by sections. Normally when we are learning techniques, we think about the overview. So it's collar, pants, kick the hips, and then we have something. So half guard, we are jumping on the upper body, hugging the head, and then like trying to fight against the hooks. But jiu-jitsu is the opposite. You have to beat your opponent's body by sections. So first thing, legs. Okay, so you got inside half guard. Second thing, hips. Okay, you are pinning the hips, you're controlling the hips, chest the hips, or just flattening the hips on the mats. And then you can move up to 5 frames, and then you can move up to flat shoulders, and then you can get control about the head. And then by beating sections by sections, you can step forward into the mat instead of just like jump over your opponent or training partner and then hope to get some success, right? So this is why we are breaking down the instructional in this slow pace. I know it's not going to be super exciting in the beginning because everybody loves to watch techniques and practice techniques, but for sure the concepts afterwards, I can guarantee once I teach the concepts, you guys will be able to improve your half guard passing without watching any technique that I'm teaching in this instructional, that I'm going to teach actually. So just by having the concepts on the mind, you guys can improve your game because concepts are more important than technique. If you just play around, and I can give this example, if you just play around at the gym, thinking about inside position, defending yourself from bottom, attacking your opponent from top, you're always going to succeed. If you play on top, thinking about flattening hips, thinking about beating your opponent for sections, you're always going to succeed. If you play bottom, always thinking, how can I step inside my opponent's body, not around the grips, but inside the grips, respecting inside position, and how can I off-balance my opponent ahead of his hip line or to behind of his hip line, so moving the head away or moving the head forward, so I can always find Kazushi off balance and then succeed in sweeps. So bringing concepts to the mind instead of bringing techniques to the mind, it's way more effective and helpful. So this is what we're gonna look for in this first section. And yeah, we are ready to start. And the first first take is gonna be flattening hips and getting chest to chest. Enjoy it. Well guys, as I said before, flattening the hips is going to be the first take, and here we are. So the reason why is this. So the reason we are flattening the hips when we are playing half guard, it's pretty simple. And you guys will see that throughout the instructional, it is what makes the most sense like ever. So every time Fernando has his body 45, he has frames and shields very active and strong. Like it doesn't require him much. Of course, he's still using his strength, but it doesn't require him much strength and energy to keep his frames and shields because he's 45. If he's completely sideways, like as you guys can see, I have access to the side of his body. Whatever I do in here, I can cover everything. And then he starts sprawling and walking around and escape from his half guard. So his posture, not only his posture, but your opponent's posture, most of the times, if they know how to play bottom half guard, even open guard, the posture is pretty much the same. So they keep the body 45 like this to not allow me engage his guarded body in a good way. So they have this posture 45. 45 is the best way to keep the body strong and safe and protect the inside position. Inside position means elbows and knees connected, and I'm not having this access about his body. So let me get access. And this is what I want, and this is what Fernando is not allowing me to have. And his body is 45, so it means frames and shields and hips are strong. So what I want to do in here, of course, beating shields is going to be one of the topics we're going to talk about because there's so many ways to beat shields. But what I really want here is flat his hips and put him in a position where his frames and shields are pointing to the ceiling. So it means there's no strength at all. Even if he tries bringing his shield against my body, because his hips are flat, no matter how much strength he does from bottom, I'm always going to get dragged whatever I'm facing and then ended up in this position where I'm inside his hips. So if I'm inside his hips, I'm controlling his lower body, right? So I'm not controlling his upper body yet because he's still having the ability to turn his shoulders 45 like this and be strong on the upper body. And then we're going to see further on. Flattening the shoulders is also what you guys should do in here. And then from this position, we can pin both sections of the body, hips and shoulders. But the first step in half guard, and the first thing you should have in mind is why I'm flattening his hips and why it's so important. How can I get there? Of course, there are ways to beat shields, as I said, depending on if he's facing my hip, depending if he's facing my shoulder. So who plays guard plays in different ways. But no matter what I'm doing here, I have to make my best to walk in and cover his hips like that, like sitting inside. And then from here it's going to be easy to pin his body. So when we are walking around this situation, so we have a few ways to get there. But most of the time it's just by walking and applying pressure. So we're always going to be able to flat his hips. And once we flat his hips, what you guys should do in here is have a pit stop with your chest against your opponent's hips. And then the arm, I normally do that, and it's very effective, either gi or no gi. I always have my elbow covering my opponent's far hip like here, and I have my knee touching my elbow. So from this situation, because I'm flattening his hips and I'm sitting inside his body, when he tries bridge or move around, Fernando, so it's super hard for him unflat his position, his hips position. So I'm completely safe in here. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna get the control on his upper body, but at least I beat this section. So this section is mine. I'm controlling his hips. He can't use his legs anymore. So because I have the inside position here, his both legs are deaf. So if he tries to use his left leg for something, bring his shield back, it's impossible. If he tries to move his right bottom leg as well, as you guys can see, it's so stuck in here. There's nothing he can do. Even if he tries knee lever sweeps out there, it's pretty much impossible because I'm beating his knee. So I'm sitting over. So once we get in here, the construction Like the way we're gonna build up to the upper body is way easier. The way we're gonna look to flatten his shoulder is way easier because the first section it's already in control. So pretty much when you guys get in here, no matter which frame, which shield you guys are facing, the main goal in your mind must be walk around the hips. Because most of the times, just by walking around, and when I say walk around, it's not walking against the hips, it's always walking around the hips. It's going to be more than enough to beat frames. So again, no matter which frame you guys, which shield you guys are facing in here, and which fancy setup you guys are looking for, or style of passing, whatever. So always walk around and then get the situation where your chest is against your opponent's hips, and then we can sit and hang in that position. So from here, half guard is gonna be always available for you. Half guard upper body pressure. So you guys are gonna slide up and then control your opponent's head and shoulders. But first thing you guys should do is walk around. Flattening hips is the most important thing. So if you guys don't flat the hips and try to fight against the shields, like his shields are always strong, no matter if chest or hip or the shield against the hips. So I can't get in because I'm facing his bone. So I have to go around his bone. So what I do, look at how easy it is. So just by stepping on the mat and walking around, so I'm creating separation between his knee and his chest. And when I slide forward, I beat his shield, and here we are, applying pressure inside his body so he can't recover anymore. Whatever he does, I'm safe. So we could be, for example, this shield on my chest. So what I can do, camp. Once I'm camping, what I do, I walk, I flatten his hips, and here I won the battle. It's just so simple. Just by extending my arm, bring your shield back. It's impossible. I can always get the inside position. So I can be getting I can be playing this knee cut situation, right? So his hips are 45. We are not talking about the shields, we are talking about the hips. His hips are 45. His upper body is 45. Frames are solid, shields are solid. What should I do? Just by walking a little bit to the center line. So when I cut my knee, it's over. There's no shields anymore. There is no strength anymore on his lower body, just his lower body. His lower body, he's still having the chance to turn 45, but the lower body, it's gone. Just shake, and I cover everything, and here we have pressure. So pretty much what I want to see you guys practicing in the gym or with training partners, whatever you guys, if you guys have mats at home, it's also a great plan. So never pass half guard when the body is 45, because 45, it's a dangerous situation to face. Not dangerous, I mean, it's a hard situation to face. If you guys get flat the hips, everything on the upper body is going to be available. If you guys flat the hips, you guys most of the times are beating shields together. So just by walking around, it's done. Look at how simple this movement. This movement, it's this move, not this movement. This move, it's so simple. Sounds retarded sometimes. So when I explain, but it is a life changing. Just walk around. Look at how simple. You guys can practice. I swear. BJJ Fanatics, Ty, listen that. BJJ Fanatics is giving your money back if you guys walk like that first time. No? You guys cannot? No? Okay. No, they will. You guys have 30 days guarantee, right? Use your 30 days guarantee. If you guys give this shot at home or at your gym, just walking, flattening hips. If you guys don't beat the shield, we're gonna give your money back.
How about you give them their money back?
If you guys pay me before I give the money back, I can. No, you're just kidding. So I guarantee you guys, I promise, this little idea of walking around, you always have to imagine a circle, not against the hips, because I'm fighting against his 45 posture. I'm never gonna get there. But if I just move myself, turning my angle a little bit, and walking around the hips, I'm always gonna get inside his body. Worst case scenario, I have the shield against my neck and upper body. It's so easy. Just come with your hand, keep your knee in place. There's no strength. His knees are already away from his chest. His knees pointing to the ceiling. I just need a small drag in here and cover. So right now we have this situation, chest against the hips. So when I'm teaching half guard to my students, I always remind about how important it is to get chest against the hips, because this is a pit stop. This is the first step to get there on the upper body. So once you get here, you get everything. So it's pretty much that. We have the knowledge about 45 degrees angle. Bottom position is the right way to play guard because shields and frames are strong. He has inside position. Everything is close and tight. I cannot break this because he's 45. Okay. Done. Okay, so he's still turning his upper body, but his hips are flat. I beat. So what I'm doing, I'm going against his main concept. Bottom position, if you are playing bottom, half guard, 45 degrees posture is what you guys should look for. So get half guard, 45. You guys are safe. There's no way to get crossface or whatever. From top, you guys have to work in the opposite way to beat the 45 posture, or completely sideways, but you guys are not facing anybody crazy. Nobody plays half guard like that. Everybody plays 45. Or if it's not completely sideways, it's flat. And if it's flat, you guys are working against the main concept that your opponent has to apply from bottom. So apply this little concept. This is something that's going to be helpful throughout the instructional. Apply this little concept about flat the hips, and if you just keep in mind this idea, flat the hips once you get inside half guard. I promise, and we are giving the money back if it doesn't work. I promise it's gonna be a life changing, because I'm saving this guy's life, right? So literally, he was terrible at jiu-jitsu 2 days ago, but right now he's getting better. And this idea of flattening hips, guys, I swear, it's just a life changing. I wish I could have learned that before, because once I start teaching this, I mean, I can see even myself passing half guard in a better way, because I'm looking straight to hips flat, straight to hips flat. If the hips are flat, you guys are on halfway to the victory. In that scenario, of course, chest to chest pressure. Okay, so just practice, go around the hips, not straight against the hips. Go around, getting chest to the hips, beating shields with less effort possible, and then from there we build up to the next step. Okay guys, second video, why we flat the shoulders. Okay, so pretty much we flat the shoulders to make our head position and our underhooks or overhooks or whatever you have in control there effective. So if you have, for example, we just spoke about getting hips flat, but you don't have a tight control about your opponent's upper body and he has this 45 posture. Let's say I get a crossface. Boom. If his shoulders are not flat, even if I move my head position and he's still 45, it's not being enough. You're gonna find a way to bring me back to in the front of his shields, and then I'm gonna have to deal with hips again, and then fight against his upper body one more time. So what you guys have to keep in mind is once we beat the hips, the next step, of course, we can build up this step by having underhooks, and most of the times you guys will get an underhook, or guys will get a crossface, or guys will get an inside underhook in here. The main goal is going to be flat the shoulders. So grips and controls without flat shoulders, it's a control you have, but it's a control that you are not dominating at all. Like, you have to have your opponent's shoulders pinned on the mats. So for example, if I get a crossface, let me get this crossface here. So if I get a crossface, just by crossface itself, Fernando can still turn in his body 45, right? And maybe, yeah, you don't need like bring shoot, just like that, it's fine. Maybe he's not bringing his shoot back, but at the same time, his shoulders are not flat. He's still having the chance to bring his hands in, to keep punching my head and creating distance to bring his shoots back. He's still having a chance to work because his shoulder is out of the mats. So once I bring, because I'm moving my head position, and we're gonna speak about head position later on, but because I'm flattening his shoulders on the mats, when Fernando tries to bring his head back or off balance me from this position, my chest to chest is really solid in here, and the grips I'm building from this position can either be crossface, can either be outside underhook with shoulder pinning on the mat. When he tries to move from here, it's really, really difficult. Can either be inside underhook and head position. When he tries to move from here, so we have shoulders flat, it's gonna be really hard. So your control about the upper body is based on shoulders flat, not underhook. Because let's say I have an underhook here and I have a crossface, but my opponent has this 45 angle on the mats. So he's still having a chance to work. He's still having ability, mobility, strength, everything to bring his hand back in place and frame my neck. Boom. Perfect. So he's still having, armpit. He's still having a chance to just have his arm out there, but bump me to the side because he's 45. I'm not controlling his upper body, and he's bringing shields, and then we are fucked up in here. We have to work again. So my main goal in that position, once I beat the hips, has to be flat his upper body, flat shoulders. And how can I flat shoulders, for example, without having a crossface or without having an underhook? I can flat his shoulders just by having my head position in here. If I bring his shoulder, his outside shoulder, not the inside one, the inside is going to be always there, always on the mats. So if I bring my inside position in somewhere where I can create this drag action of pinning his far shoulder, so underhooks is going to be an easier option for me. Crossface is going to be easier option for me. Hand palm around his frames also is going to be something easier for me. So because he has his shoulders flat on the mat, his strength right now is not his bones operating against my upper body. His strength right now is his bench press maximum rep. How much can you bench press?
50 pounds.
50 pounds. So he's a small lady. So he can just bench press 50 pounds. But if he's 45, his bone is here, heavy as fuck. Like, he's not benching pressing anything. It's just his joint holding the pressure. But if during this process, just with my head, I pin his on the mats, so right now he's benching press my body weight. It's gonna be hard for him. He's already shaking because he's a lazy lady. I can get my crossface and work from here. So same thing as we do against the hips, flatten his hips on the mats, we do against his upper body. Of course, during this process of flattening his shoulders, we are also hand palming, building crossfaces, underhooks. We are being active. I'm not saying that you guys have to do everything step by step. You guys have to think about sections, but against a tough guy is going to be everything right away, like beating shields, flattening hips, moving up, flattening shoulders, getting some upper body control. But pretty much, if you guys are struggling, or if you guys are just practicing the half guard skills, flattening the body is the best thing you guys can do. Because again, from here, I'm fighting joints. I'm fighting strength. It's easy for me. So from this position, underhooks are available. Head position can have pressure. Inside underhook can have pressure. Double underhooks because he's flat can have pressure. Crossface because he's flat can have pressure. Crossface underhook because he's flat, I can build pressure. So all those setups with his body 45, it doesn't have, this situation, I'm not applying pressure at all from top. From this position, yes. From this position, I'm pinning him. His upper body is gone. So you are again respecting the same idea of body 45. You are working against body 45. Flattening, there's no strength anymore lower body. Flattening, there is no strength anymore upper body. So you are literally forcing your opponent to play in a body position that he cannot play. Body flat. If his body is flat, you guys can do whatever you guys want. Of course, he's still having a chance to shake. Let's say I have a crossface here in front of the bump because he's strong and turning his body 45. It can happen, of course. I have to deal again, like drag, control his hips, and then fight to get my hand inside and fly shoulders. But I promise it's going to be hard for your opponent or training partner to escape from this situation just because he's flat. So second concept you guys have to keep in mind is whenever you guys get flat the hips, next step is going to be flat the shoulders. During the process, beating frames, beating shields, flattening hips, and flattening shoulders, they're going to come together. We have section 1, we have section 2, but that should be what you guys gotta respect during the process. Flatten here, flatten that, and then build up whatever you guys find. Because again, so any control you guys have on the upper body with shoulders flat, it's a good control. Any control you guys have with the body 45, let's say I have underhook and inside head position, but he's 45, he's not flat. So from here, he's bringing shields back. So maybe you guys struggle in this situation because of his 45 posture. But I'm pinning everything there, and I'm switching my head position, and his shoulder is flat on the mat. Fernando, move. It's just so easy. And the more I flat him, the more pressure I can generate in here. So look at how I'm driving his head to over my hand. So I'm pinning his far shoulder just by dragging his head to over my hand. When he tries to move and bring his body 45 degrees, it's going to be really, really hard. For me, it's just easy to stay on top because he's flat. So, it's done, buddy. So, first section, legs, shields, and hips. Second section, frames, arms, upper body, shoulders, head. And we are combining all those concepts when we go through everything we have in there. But just flat the body. Always remember during the process, how can I flat my opponent's body? If you guys flat your opponent's body, and we spoke about that in the last instructional video, a lot of techniques from side to side, bullet print, outside passing, a lot of techniques we were forcing flat body postures. I don't know if you remember that. Mm-hmm. And then we were going out again, because if you flat your opponent's body, everything is available. Like nobody is I mean, people are still strong, but like not as strong as having the body 45. So we flat things and then we move out. So half guard with flat things and then we move upstairs. So we're always climbing by flattening the opponent's body. So the second take was about flattening shoulders. First take, flattening hips. Let's go for the next one. Third video, third concept that we are learning, practicing, is posture from top. Normally when we see people, watch people passing half guard, so we see people pretty much hanging on the knees and hanging on the hands, like here. It can be the elbows or hands connected. And I have 4 points on the mats in here. I have elbows and knees working. Maybe toes. Toes are not that efficient in that position because we have the knees. But this situation where my elbows, my shoulders are straight, it's really hard to generate pressure from top, not by using my strength, because in situations like here, I'm trying to hug my training partner, but to use gravity and body weight to generate pressure. So when we are passing guard in any scenario, any technique we are facing, top to bottom, so angle the body posture is the best thing you can do to increase your body weight and fall yourself against your opponent's frames and legs and shields and grips and whatever he's grabbing from bottom. Because when you angle your body, you are pretty much making yourself unstable for your opponent on bottom position. So situations where we have, for example, half guard passing, and I'm pretty much changing my angle to pass half guard, I'm using my entire body against my opponent's frames and shields and whatever we are facing in the position. But because I'm angling myself, I'm being able to drop myself on top and then use my body weight in an effective idea. So for example, we have here a situation where we have half guard. Let's say we got inside position. We are inside the hips and we have crossface and underhook, right? So if I'm in this position and I'm completely straight, so I can just generate pressure from here by hugging my opponent and trying to squeeze my arms as much as possible and pinch my legs on his half guard as much as possible. So I have my shoulders aligned, so we have this straight posture. I'm pretty much, I don't know, I cannot use the word flat, but as you guys can see, my posture is aligned, my back is aligned to my hips, my shoulders are aligned to my hips, and it's super hard from this type of body posture to generate pressure. But in situations where I start to angle my body, I can start connecting myself on my opponent's upper body and lower body. And from here, I can keep my agility, pressure, movement. I feel myself move. I feel myself with a better base because I'm attached to my opponent's body, but not because I'm hugging him and destroying my athletic reactions. I'm building up athletic reaction because I'm pretty much being ready. Like when we are passing guard, for example. So we're not passing guard like here. We spoke about the same thing on the other instruction, on the beginning of the instruction actually. So we are not passing guard like here, dragging legs. No athletic stance. We're always angling the body, grabbing legs, getting angle, being effective on top, and increasing the athleticism by assuming some good body posture. So when you have a bad body posture, nothing is going to work. Because it's not about you are not athletic enough, you're not strong enough, you're not explosive enough, you don't have mobility. It's not about that. Which is wrong in that position is how you use your body posture to generate pressure, to generate mobility, and from those scenarios where your body is ready to work, it's ready to run. So we use the example about run. So I'm ready to run in here. So everything's tight so it can run. Imagine if I'm starting the sprint like here, like everything flat. So I'm not gonna be explosive enough to run and win. But if I don't know, I'm not a professional runner, so don't judge my movement, okay, guys? But I'm pretty much assume that we have to start with some athletic posture like here, and then we run, and then we jump, and then we do what we should do. So half guard is the same thing. So we have to assume some athletic posture on top. In this situation where knees are on the ground, on the mat, sorry, and elbows are on the mat, and shoulders are straight flat, like here, it's not athletic at all. So when I just have a small shift on my hips, I'm just angling my hips and upper body. So I can feel right now I have chest. So Fernando's gonna make noise, and you guys will hear, listen, the pressure just by like dropping the body weight. So can you do like for a long time? Yeah. And I'm not squeezing. I'm not moving my arms at all. Like I'm just chilling here. But because I angled my body, so I'm generating pressure naturally. So the gravity is dragging me down. Like, so if we angled, wow, this is like so simple. I used to teach physics in a university in Colombia. So, bro, you always laugh when I'm like sharing some stories. It's just weird.
Last time he was training Muay Thai in Thailand.
World champ.
Yes.
Physics.
So
Professor.
this is the same thing, guys. So when I angled my body, so naturally I'm falling because I'm angled. So imagine if I angled in here with hips and upper body. Okay, underhooks, no underhooks, whatever we are building up. But just by angling, so there's pressure because the gravity is dragging me down. So when Fernando brings his frame back on my neck and pushes me away, so he's pushing my body weight because I'm angled. So if I'm flat and I'm hugging him, when he pushes me away, so I have to hug him more in order to keep my position, and he probably gonna get to push me away. Just by angling, my body weight is on him. So and if you guys see, I'm not angling much. I'm not sitting on the mats because right now my body weight is on the mats. So when he pushes me away, so I'm going there, like of course. So I'm just angling a little bit. Boom. Look at how I move my hips. Boom. If your knees stay away from the mats, like the inside one, it's totally fine. We are looking to walk, and you guys will learn this about in the further videos. But what I want in here is just angling. So if you guys feel like, okay, so I'm angling, but my knees are still on the mat, fine. Because I'm angling my hips are heavy, and my legs are very athletic right now. I'm gonna show it off your body here. So this is how we used to pass half guard, and this is what I wanna see you guys, the way I wanna see you guys passing half guard. Right here I have the traction from my toes. I have my hip mobility to walk around, to base out, to open my legs if necessary. Here I don't. I can open, but just my knees. So when I widen my legs like here, I have a better base. So this is the first thing, shift a little bit. And then by the time, once you guys learn how to angle the hips, angle the upper body as well. So we angle the upper body, we walk with hands, we switch head position, we angle to the other side. So I'm always angling my body, either lower body and either upper body. So crossface, inside half guard, underhook, hands connected. It's not raw. It's not right. This is right. This is right. So I'm angling my upper body and legs. Okay, so I don't have a crossface. Hand on the mats, head position. I angle to the other side. Right now it's heavy in here. It's heavy in here, and I walk. So I'm always angling my posture. Can I say posture? Yeah. I'm always angling my posture when I am inside half guard, and also when I'm facing any other type of guard. So this instruction is going to be about half guard. So this is why we are putting emphasis in half guard situation. But the last instruction now we spoke about camping methods from different scenarios. Side control, north-south, front guard attacks, and I was angling my body the entire time, because angle the body, it's a great answer for pretty much all the scenarios you guys can imagine. Just close guard, I would say it's not the best option, because you guys have to posture up like here. But besides close guard, I would say pretty much every other type of guard, angle the body is a great answer. So conceptually speaking about this situation, body posture, angle the body can be the best thing you guys do from inside half guard. So get inside half guard, beat the hips, flatten the hips, beat the shoulders, flatten the shoulders, and angle the body. If you guys angle the body from inside half guard, either, just one more example, either when we are facing the shields. So he has this high shield in here. So if I'm with my shoulders like straight, so there's no pressure. So when I just angled my body a little bit, so he's already, he's holding my body weight. So when I walk to the center, so right now I change my angle and then I'm walking out there, so I can beat everything. And here I get inside the hips, so I can start build up my things, but I'm angling my body since the beginning. Angling in or angling out, like, or I'm looking at him diagonal this way or diagonal out. So this is what you guys should do from inside half guard and also any other type of guard. So take a look about this specific concept you guys can bring for different types of guard you guys are facing and have problems. And once you guys conceptually change this idea in mind, okay, so I'm inside half guard, I'm top passing, so I'm angling my body a little better, I guarantee you guys it's going to be easier to pass any type of guard. Let's talk about shields. Before, and you guys gotta connect the first video where we spoke about flattening the hips, you guys gotta connect with this take where we are speaking about shields. So we have different types of shields that we face when we are inside half guard. And inside half guard also means knee cut and also means camping, as we learned in the last instructional video. So my opponent, he can play, if he's a good guard player, with this shield against my hip, or either this shield against my shoulder. So he only has those two spots to play shields. So if you see someone crossing the leg all the way through like here, so it's a bad spot to be, because as you can see, he's not 45 anymore. He's completely sideways. So I can just smash him here and then work to find my way to pass straight, so I can show mounts or either flat his hips back. So because we know that he only has two spots to post his knee, either hip or either shoulder, if he's a good fighter again. So if he's just like crossing it, let's say a lot of people cross ankles like here. Yeah, like old school guys, it's just like so easy, flat thing. So it's gonna be like, it's gonna be money in the bank. But good guys, they would fight against hip and shoulder. And we have options to go around those scenarios. So further on, again, so as we are learning right now, all the concepts further on, when we see the techniques by itself, like the technique by itself, we're gonna connect all the concepts and then get some mount position, second throw, submission, whatever we're looking for. But right now, let's see variations for this situation. So when I'm facing a shield, like here, I'm not aware about his upper body. He's still having frames and everything in place, of course. He's not just chilling. But what I have to deal right now is his shield. So one simple thing that we can do in here, when we are either facing shield against the hip or shield against the shoulder, it's always give a shot about the walking around. So just by bringing this leg up and rising my hip, so his shield is still tied on my hip, but the more I walk around, the more I can drop my level, sprawl my hips, and then get in this chest to hips position. As you guys know, this is what we are looking for. Same thing when he's fighting against my shoulder, because I'm angling my body, I'm applying pressure, and he has this situation where his shield is working well. So what I should do, get up with my knee from the floor, from the mat, sorry, and then walk around, reaching the same scenario. So if we have knee out across, this is a mistake, but this thing can happen sometimes. We have the opponent or training partner controlling the hips like here, and we feel we cannot walk in because he's already pointing everything to out there. What we should do, we just control whatever we have available in here. And I would say belt most of the times and collar most of the times. So we are not getting a crossface. And even if we get a crossface in here, because of this leg in here, we're not going to get an effective crossface. We're not going to get to pin this shoulder on the mat. So I just have to grab belt and collar in here. It's pretty easy for me. Start to sprawl down and then push his knee against the mats. So he has this shielding here. I feel I'm tight. I feel I want to walk, but it's too heavy for me to walk around. So I angled my body and I sprawl down. Once I sprawl down, it's so easy for me. Move head position, walk up, and then do whatever I feel like to escape from his half guard. So from here, you guys can see I barely moved and I'm out from his half guard. Sorry. Once he has this shield all the way across, just keep sprawling for the direction your opponent is working on, and then his half guard doesn't work anymore. Worst case scenario for him is this one. If he just plays in that, if he doesn't move, so it's easy for me, start pinning his leg, high step, and then pass to his side. A lot of times, once you guys get in here, your opponent will try extend his leg and bring his shield back in place. I just keep sprawling, flattening his hips back, and then we can from here play this chest to hips idea. So let's say that right now he has shield against the shoulders. So as you guys know, as we saw on the previous take, so when my posture is flat like here, so straight shoulders, there is no pressure. When I grab the belt and the collar and I start camping him by changing by angling my posture like here, so I'm heavy right now, I'm just chilling on top. So I'm still inside half guard and he's holding my entire posture. So I'm angling and naturally I'm driving him to a flat hips position. So if he's more sideways and he feels I'm trying to flat him and force half guard chest to hips, and he's turning his body sideways because he doesn't want to allow me to get this flat position. So what I do, I just angle my body to another direction, and then I force him to connect the legs like here. Same thing that we did before. If he doesn't move, you guys can see head position in any high step is bringing me out. But if he tries extend the leg to bring back the shield, no problem. We just keep sprawling. We can use this hand as a support to drag things in and then force the situation where chest to the hips are available, and also crossface, spinning the shoulder is available. So his shield is up. We have two options: angling the body and forcing flat position, angling the body and drop things there. So the knee is tied in here, but we have a chance to walk around and force hips flat on the ground, or he cuts all the way here, and we also have a chance to angle the body and then beat him towards this direction. Also, we have options to bring hand inside, cut knee like here, and then do different types of passing. So let's say right now that my opponent is doing a great job scissoring legs, and I feel the shield is attached to my hip. And I feel I cannot walk because he's doing a good job with his posture 45. He's not bringing his shield up, and I'm not getting out there in an effective way. So what should I do? So it's pretty simple. We're going to see in the further topics. So every time he scissor legs really well, so the more I bring my foot closer to his hip, the more I decrease the pressure he has against my hips. So when I have my knees on the mats, it's because I'm not angled. And the more angle I get, the less pressure I feel on my hips. So what I should do, I just grab things in here and walk with my leg up. Once I walk with my leg up, the shoelace strap is the best option. I just drag things down, and then here we are fighting against the opponent's hips. Another option, go around his shield. He's still facing here. My hip inside, the right way to play, but I feel I cannot walk. I'm trying to get up, but I'm not being effective with my shoelace drag. So what should I do? I just post my hips on the mats for this one. So I can just swing my arm all the way over. Even if he has frames in here, I just cut elbow and drop hips on the mat. Worst case scenario, he keeps this shield. Stand a little bit further. He keeps this shield against my hip. It's not a problem. So from here, we have so many places to grab, drag down, and then walk to get this flat hips position. So it's just going to be some easy drill to replicate. So if I feel I cannot walk, I angle my body, it's not being enough. So everything I'm doing in here is being a nightmare to escape from the shield. I just have to swing my hand and sit down like here. Once I sit down, so he's still having inside position. Maybe he can bring this hand all the way in, and I feel, fuck, I cannot get under hooks or whatever. So I just drag things, sit forward, and then here we are again on the perfect spot and what we are looking for most of the times, getting chest against the hips, and then stuck his leg mobility, and whatever we do from here, it's fine. So always choosing one direction from either shoot against the hip or shoot against the shoulder. You're always going to open one door. And you are opening a door to, again, flat the hips. So it would be incredible just walking into the hips and then get that flat situation. But if you guys don't get the flat situation right away, just by stepping up and walking around, just starting playing around with your body more angled, out and in, out and in. Maybe you're gonna need to shake 1, 2, 3 times each side until you disturb your opponent's body posture and then be able to get some better angle underneath his body. But just by choosing one side or another, you're always opening doors. So this is what I recommend from situations where the shields are blocking your progress. The shields are stopping your progress. Always angle the body one side or another, open one door, and keep following the game plan, flatten the hips. If you angle the body and flatten the hips, so we can attack the opponent's upper body frames and build up controls, crossface, whatever, with your leg. Okay? So it's pretty much that. Simple as I explained, and connecting ideas, we're gonna build up our half guard game. Well guys, right now we have frames, and again, so everything we are talking in this instructional video, it's going to come together by the end when we practice the entire technique. But as we are breaking down in concepts like sections, we have frames to work in here. So we are not covering the ideas anymore about controlling hips, flattening shoulders, but we ended up in a situation where we already beat the knees, right, the shields, and we are not controlling completely the hips. It can be, but we are pretty much in this stage where we are not inside the hips yet and we are facing the frames. So because he's 45 degrees on the mats, he has this posture angled, so it's hard for me beat his frames by using the strength, just dropping my body weight. Of course, as we spoke before, angled, your posture can be some great friend and a huge help in this process. So if I'm just in here, shoulders straight, like flat, so I'm not applying that much pressure, but once I start angle a little bit, so things start to become easier for me to swim around and then get my grips, beat his frames. So what we are looking for in situations where we got beat the legs, we control the hips, and then we have to beat the frames in order to build up a better control. So most of the times, you guys will feel that the best way to beat the frames is not going to be strength against strength. The best way to beat the frames, getting crossfaces, getting underhooks, getting some deep and high head position, it always going to be pressure. And then this pressure over time will allow you to swim around your opponent's frames with either arms palming inside or either head palming inside frames. I know it sounds weird, I'm just shaking my body in here, but this is pretty much what happens. So if you see a guy like Gordon Ryan, and I'm bringing up his example a lot recently because we are trained together, but he's great about swinging his arms inside frames and head inside frames, and use head to drag arms away to build up underhooks. And this situation is not different. So when we are facing frames, so if I'm here facing frames, I'm not angling my body and I'm trying get crossface, or I'm trying swing my arm inside. It's just so easy for Fernando to follow me with his elbows and hands. So he's always closing the door. Like I try to get my head inside, so no way I'm getting to find my space. And it's because I'm not generating pressure from top enough to force him to hold up, to carry my body weight, and then from there I work. So if at this point I start angling my body, like build up different types of posture where I'm leaning far away, you can frame me, I'm leaning far away, or I'm just angling towards this direction, I'm always finding ways to swim beat frames by giving small bumps on his elbows, moving my head around, or either just situations like here where I'm angling my body, and then I can definitely swing my head inside and then build up underhooks and head positions and things like that. So most of the times, to not say 100% of the times, your ability to beat frames is 100% related to the pressure you build. It's not about strength. It's not about you look at to your opponent's neck and then like try hug him. Or even if you get connect your hands, it's not gonna be enough to hold up this situation, this position, because you guys learned before that body angles, chest to chest, and get inside position is what you guys need. So from this position, he just pushed me away, shake a little bit. It's over, right? So we build this inside position, we get this control from inside his body because we are angling and building pressure. So we can do it in different ways. Of course, I'm not angling right now just to keep talking and be comfortable here. So we can simply hand palm inside like here. We can easily drag elbow, no, you just keep a little bit more strong, yeah. Drag elbows up and swing hand inside. We can get tides like here where just the hand comes and then we flare elbows and then we bring head inside. We can punch, snapping down things, building up over, letting him come back to frame and then build up cross face. We have situations where we just come under and we build bottom underhooks and we walk with the hand. And from here we are beating the frames, because right now when he tries punch me just with this arm, it's gonna be hard. So I angle my body and then I build up my pressure from top. So we can do so many things just by creating pressure from top and forcing him to be busy, keeping the distance, pushing me away. Because or he either protecting himself in a safe spot where there's no pressure, so he's not holding my body weight, carrying my body weight, sorry. He's not carrying my body weight in here because I'm not heavy, or he's busy carrying my body weight because I'm angling my posture, and then from here I can easily start doing my things. Getting crossface, I can easily swing my head inside, build up underhooks. I can easily drag things up and then beat his frame with my head. I can easily just build up something inside and then get head position and build from here. I can easily just hold things in here and just build as high as possible in here and then build his frames by using head position right now when he tries pushing me away. It's really hard. I can force record as mount. So pretty much to beat frames, it's not about shooting hands against his upper body. It's just about angle the body and generate pressure. So I'll walk. You can play around a little bit with your frames. Yeah. So I just angle and I get here my good underhook because I was angling my body and getting up. So if I'm here and I face him straight and I try using my arms to get something, I'm not gonna get it. So if I angle, look at how I'm already like beating him. I'm just chilling. And then I shake one side and then I shake another. And then I beat his elbow. And then I cut my knee and then we are ready to pass the guard. So it's so much more easy. You generate pressure from body angle and then beat frames by itself without connecting your body weight, without connecting the pressure you can create from top. So again, we are just speaking about this small concept idea. I don't like to use much the word concept sometimes because I feel like it should be something more like fancy to use the word concept. But pretty much by using your body weight, because we are angling the body, so you guys are connecting the concept of body posture, so you guys can beat frames. Beat frames because the pressure is there, not because you guys are looking to beat frames. Beat frames like here, it's not gonna work. It's impossible. But beat frames like here, so I'm already beating his arms. Like he's carrying my entire body weight. So I'm upstairs. I'm not fighting him against the hips and try and get there. If you guys feel like, okay, so I can shoot my hand and slide up, beautiful. But good guys, we move up. And then we bring his elbows against the ceiling. Look at where his elbows are pointing. So his elbow is pointing up. So from here, I can start to walk with hands. Build up some good underhooks. Build up some good head positions. Build up because we are applying pressure upstairs. Good crossface. And then I can generate, I can create a solid control because his shoulders are flat. So if I'm here, he's 45, there's no pressure. So I start leaning forward, look at his shoulders. And then I can beat his frames. Right now is the time. Shake, 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 shake. So I feel his elbow is stuck in my neck, no problem, just come. And I pull things up, so he's flat. When he tries to move right now, he's done. And then I can go straight to the mount and do whatever I want. So as you guys can see, everything's connecting. So we have body 45, shields, boom, everything. So I walk, I flat things. So I'm controlling the hips, I beat the shields. Both concepts that we already spoke about. So I want to flat his shoulders. And right now I have to beat his frames. Beautiful. Here we are. Look at how my posture is angled. So he can't escape from here. Right now it's done. So I can use my hands as support. We can switch heads. I can build up some underhook. We're going to see on the next take. I think it's on the next take. I have to check it out, but probably it is. So we build up things with flat shoulders. And from here, we are able to work with different setups. So we are combining things, as you guys just saw, shields, hip, shoulders flat, and then frames. So we are building up to the upper body. I'm gonna check, because I just forgot, but we still have in head position, and we still having underhooks and things like that to talk about. But we are pretty much progressing stage by stage. Boom, sections. Sections, shields, hips, shoulders, and frames. So we are getting there. So just keep it in mind. Again, if I could explain you, if I could just give one advice without talking much as I just did. So instead of having fancy explanations about beating frames, just think in your mind. I have to generate pressure first by angling my body, bringing his elbows up, pointing to the ceiling, and from there, it's going to be easy to swim around with arms, with head, getting underhooks, crossface, whatever you're looking for. So this is just simple. Just generate pressure first against the frames, and then you guys can swim. If you guys just try, go crazy punching your opponent on the upper body, getting crossface underhooks, it's not going to work. First, build up, bring things up, separate elbows from the body, because this is the safest position to be. This is not safe from here because the guy from bottom is holding the pressure, boom, carrying your body weight. So here it's easy, boom, getting double underhooks, boom, get a crossface, boom, pin the shoulder, boom, pin the hips, boom, everything's done. And then you start moving up. So simple like that. And one more step or one more concept or one more whatever you guys want to call this. Enjoy it. Guys, this take is about head position. So if I could give one advice for, okay, so Nicholas, do you have a universal advice to face any type of guard? I would say head position. So if you pay attention on head position, you can improve your Toyota pass, your lasso guard passing, your half guard passing, your side control, your back take. You can improve like everything that you do from top to bottom. Head position is the most important thing. So everything you are leaning your head well towards a comfortable direction where by having the head position, you are increasing your athleticism because your posture is working well. You're angling your body well. You are diving correctly against your opponent. You can always succeed just by thinking about head position. And this topic that we are talking about is head position from inside half guard. And pressure from inside half guard is also generated from head position. So we can angle the body, but without thinking about head position, we cannot build as much pressure as we could if we have the head position out there. And it's going to be pretty simple to understand. And let's see. So we have so many spots that we can use head position from inside half guard. let's say that we are from this since the beginning we are talking about covering the hips, flattening the hips, covering the far hip, and here we are. If I had my head position like here facing my opponent, we have a gap between our bodies. If I just keep my head position low, like close to my opponent's body, when he pushes me away, it's gonna be way harder because my head position is keeping my body connected to his body. So every time we are gaining territory on my opponent's upper body, we always have to slide the head around. Of course, if he's pushing my chin away, like, of course, I'm losing my head position here, but I'm still like diving down. Like he's literally like using strength. What should I do? Just move around. No, you don't need to be so polite. I just move around and bring my head position down again. Thanks for being polite, bro. But head position is everything in here. So we have so many spots that we can place the head and be effective. Of course, we're starting from here. My head is around his waist because I cannot hold this position in here and use my head position up there. But while we are progressing and going up, so let's say that we have this situation right now, I'm fighting against the frames as we just saw. So if he's 45 on the upper body, you guys saw that detail before, so I'm flattening his shoulders. First thing, my head goes there, and then I'm flattening things. So right now I dive forward, I go upstairs, and then I'm pointing his elbows up because I want to start the what? Hand palming around or building underhooks. So if my head is high, I have no pressure at all. So he can move his arms around and build up like, yeah, sideways, whatever he's looking for. So when my head is close to my opponent's arms, I'm heavier, and then I can move and swim in a way better way, in a way better, interesting. I didn't have words to explain this one. In a fashion way, I can move in a fashion way and then build up more pressure from no matter which setup I'm looking for. So head position is everything, and we have a few spots that we can place our head when we are facing half guard. So first one, and maybe the most traditional one, once we get a good crossface. So head always, if we have a chance to beat frames naturally, head always goes out like here. You guys will see that the last goal is going to be turn your opponent's knees away from your body, but head position can be either over the shoulder like here, and we have a very interesting situation in here where when we have underhook, for example, so if my elbows, are close to my opponent's body, my head position has to be away. Why? Because I have my base. So if my elbow is open like here, wide, and I have my elbow as a base support, because if he breathes all there, my elbow is controlling everything. So I can keep my head position close to his head. So we have those three spots to play head position, or either away, because I have elbows close to my opponent's body, or either elbow wide and head position in. So we also have another great spot to play head position. I do it a lot. Is when we beat the elbow and we post head position on the ground like here. So I feel like this one is super solid because I'm exposing the top of my head to his elbow. So when he tries to drag down my head, it's really, really hard because my spine is straight. So I have this kind of angle with my hips and shoulders where I can apply pressure, and then I can walk, beat his leg, and then keep applying pressure. So also I have head position on this side where I have my hand working as a base with my underhook. I need to have an underhook to use this head position setup. And then instead of have a crossface, or either because I'm looking to pass towards this side, or either because I'm losing the control because my crossface is not being enough here. So when I switch head positions, I can always, from this situation, build pressure not only for posting my head, my forehead on the mats, but also for driving his head to over my hand. So I'm dragging his head, and from here I'm bending his spine. So when Fernando tries to move from here, it's really, really hard. It's super tight. I can always flare my elbow a little bit just to increase my pressure. And from here we can stay as long as we want, and we can operate cutting the knee, and then like going for different types of passing. So head position can also be used to swim around, as we just saw, beating shoulders like here, flattening the body. We can also go inside and fight against armpit. If we feel like getting over the frame is too risk, so I'm not finding a good balance. So if I feel like necessary, get underneath the armpit, it's the best option. If I feel it's not as uncomfortable as it looks like, I can move my forehead away and then beat his half guard. So once we build underhook, and we feel like the head position is not available outside for the outside, what we should do, switch for the inside, post the head position in this direction, so we can drive and drag his head towards this direction. We can cut the knee and then be happy in here, and it's pretty much that. So if we beat, and we're gonna see further on, if we beat this setup's pretty cool. If we beat his frame in that way, like we have crossface, we connect 10 fingers, we wide elbow, we slide the head inside, and then we pass everything through. So we can do what? Pinch elbows, and then, or head position away, because my outside elbow is pinched on his back, or I widen my elbow and keep my head position close like here. So I can always build up to mount position or any type of passing. So spots that we use head, spots that we place the head is close to the body to avoid push, underneath the armpit, far away when we have a crossface and this frame is not enough to off balance us. If we get underhook and crossface, we have close to the head when the elbow is wide, or outside when the elbow is pinched. And if we lose for some reason, maybe because he has his frame or because we're not controlling well the far shoulder, we just switch head position towards the side, and then we build pressure from inside head position. So we have those spots that replace the head. And again, so pressure has to be built as well from head position. We know angling the body is one of the main points, as we spoke before. Moving forward and bringing elbows up is also a great concept that you guys have to keep in mind. So the more distance we have core and elbows, the better. But head position is also super necessary if you guys are looking for heaviest pressure possible in this game. So top position, diving forward, moving head forward, splitting elbows from the waist. It's always going to be the best you guys can do from here. And then place heads around those situations, those scenarios, underneath armpit, far, close, inside. Whatever you guys do from here, it's always going to be more than enough to increase your pressure from top. Okay guys, so take right now crossface situation. So how can we properly apply crossface? So crossface and half guards in half guard passing, they are pretty much connected one to another, like not to each other, sorry, because crossface is a very great control to combine when you are inside half guard, and not only with traditional half guards when we are facing the opponent, but also 3/4 mount if during the process you ended up stopping there and then having to switch your crossface, because once you cut sides, so you have to switch crossface. And we have as well a situation where the crossface stopped working because your opponent or training partner just turns the body sideways, and we have to readjust the type of crossface we do. So the first one that we're gonna see is the traditional half guard style, where we are facing the opponent and we got make everything work. So we got flat the hips, we got flat the shoulders, we got a crossface, and then from here, how can we build up a good crossface? So first thing we have to understand in here is that pressure with the shoulder is not the right way to apply pressure. I know that the old school style people always used to always and still like, to be honest, to smash the opponent's face. But if I want to choke someone from half guard, it's not my shoulder on my opponent's bone that is creating pressure from this position. So I have to use my arm, mainly my biceps, as my leg inside applying a triangle, for example. So when we have the triangle, we have the calf muscle and the hamstring applying pressure around the opponent's neck. In this situation, we have the biceps as the main support to apply pressure, and also the full arm ended up covering the back of my opponent's neck. So from situations like this, when we start to apply pressure and lean forward, building up the head position as we just saw before, either hand to hand or just either the head out there. So what is creating pressure in here is my biceps and not my shoulder. I never think about shoulder when I'm applying pressure. I always think about biceps. And how can I get my biceps around? I'm not going to choke you well. You can relax. And how can I apply pressure well from that position? So one good indication, and not indication, how can I say that? One good, indication, I would say. Yeah, one good indication that you guys can have to understand and start building your pressure from crossface is try to feel your middle finger inside your opponent's armpit, like here. Because if we work with the hand on the shoulder, like grabbing the jacket in here, so it's too loose, your hand moves around and your biceps probably is gonna lose pressure around here, and then you guys will switch the pressure from biceps to shoulder on the chin. So when I have the lapel, it's not wrong, but the lapel also works and your hand doesn't get stuck inside your opponent's armpit, and then maybe you guys can have pressure around his neck with your biceps, maybe not. But if you guys extend the arm first, feel your biceps around your opponent's neck, and just turn the hand and post the middle finger inside his armpit, once you guys start to build up head position, either underneath the armpit like here, or either over, because you guys are going out there. So there's so much pressure with your biceps against your opponent's neck that he's definitely going to pass out if you guys hold up there for too long. Of course, once you guys start to apply pressure and your opponent feels up that he's passing out or he's not getting to breathe, what he gonna do? He gonna freak out, and freaking out, he gonna open doors for you, progress inside from inside half guard, maybe into mount, maybe into side control, maybe he gonna spaz out and you guys can take the back from the situation. But most of the times what happens in here is you guys start to apply pressure, your opponent freaks out, shakes their body, trying to decrease the pressure from here, and then you guys can build up for something better than only a crossface. Maybe you guys can get this underhook, maybe you guys can go straight to mount control. You guys lost the huge pressure from crossface, but you guys definitely build up for something better than half guard. So this is the way we apply pressure from crossface when we have this traditional half guard side. when we are facing the opponent and we have a chance to wrap the opponent's neck with the biceps. Again, this is a different style of crossface. If you use your shoulder, you are only smashing your opponent's face, and it's hard for you guys maintain head position in a tight way. Once you guys slide from bottom to up, either underneath or either over like here, your biceps is so tight around your opponent's head, around your opponent's neck, that each inch you guys get gaining space by sliding, by moving your head position away from your opponent's body, the tighter it becomes. And then it's just a matter of time for you guys get the pass or just damage your opponent's vital energy inside this situation, right? So again, it is good to apply hand to hand. No, it's not, because hand to hand, your elbows has to wide. So if your elbows has to wide, your biceps is not the main research of strength. So you guys are more basing out than anything else. So if you guys want to generate pressure from crossface, this is what you guys should do. Hide your fingers inside your opponent's armpit. Middle finger is always the indicator. So if it's here, it's tight. So move your head, and then you guys can build up your head position in different ways. So let's say that I'm moving in here, and Fernando, he freaks out, and I ended up cutting my knee over and having this crossface. I ended up having this 3/4 mount. And as you guys can see, he's turning sideways because he's trying to decrease the pressure from the traditional crossface that I have from traditional side. So situations like here, if I keep cutting my shoulder against his face, I'm not doing anything effective in here. Maybe I can post my forehead on the mats just to have a base. Maybe I can widen my hand as well to have a base. But I'm not choking him anymore, and I'm not being effective with this crossface. It's easy for him to stay in that position. So what should I do? I should move back and switch arms. Because once I switch arms, I can switch my crossface, my arm, switching sides, of course, about my crossface, and I can start to pin him against the mats again. So as you guys learned before, the main goal from inside half guard always is flat the shoulders on the mats. And this type of crossface from 3/4 mount that we're going to use a lot in this instructional video, and 3/4 mount is super powerful. This specific crossface from 3/4 mount, my hand doesn't go behind my opponent's shoulder, because when I lean back, so it's hard to find my biceps on my opponent's neck. So how I use this type of crossface? From 3/4 mount, I have to shoot my hand as deep as possible, same thing that we do in the traditional crossface, and I have to feel my biceps punch my opponent's neck like here. So boom, I connect my biceps, I wrap up his neck, and my hand goes all the way down against his spine. I have an option to grab the jacket if I feel like, or I can just post my hand on my opponent's back. So right now, as we know, it's very important from half guard flat shoulders. Once we start flattening shoulders in here using chest and head position, because this is what we should do, use some good head position in order to flat shoulders. So my biceps is already there. So I'm wrapping my opponent's neck. So as you guys can see, I'm pulling my hand out, but there is nowhere to go. So my hand is already tight on his neck. Once I flatten him, I can feel his neck is around his neck is embraced by my shoulder and biceps for this 3/4 crossface. So when I lean forward and I use my head position to build up a base, he's holding the entire pressure right now. It's super hard to breathe. He's probably gonna freak out, open his half guard, and I can go straight to the mount. Worst case scenario, he's not freaking out. He's just there, no problem. It's gonna be so much pressure in here. His legs, for sure, will get lighter and weaker, and you guys gonna get like palm and ended up on mount position. Fight to get your underhook, and then walk up and build up your underhooks. So we have two different types of crossface. Biceps is more important than shoulder. Shoulder can come together, but the biceps around the neck has to be the main research of strength. Head position builds up your pressure as well. And for this side, traditional crossface, arm, you extend, you wrap the neck, you walk with your hand, move all the way around, middle finger inside armpit. And then the more you move head position away, the more pressure you build. And 3/4 mount, because you guys switch sides, you guys, in order to apply pressure, have to switch sides as well with your, just a little bit, with your crossface. If you guys try go straight to the shoulder, it's hard to find a comfortable spot to your elbow and your bicep. So what you guys should do, shoot your hand all the way through against the mat, is lie down, and then post your hand in the middle of the back. So you guys can grab the jacket or just post your hand. Right now, what creates pressure? Chest against the shoulder, head position on the mat. So this is the pressure you guys are looking for. So if you guys extend your arm and feel your biceps going around your opponent's neck, once you guys lean forward, the pressure is going to be there. So like palm, you guys can pass straight side control or either mount position. So last scenario that we're going to see, and it's also a crossface, but it's a less, I would say, it's a less recurse. Can I say recurse? You know what I want to say?
Yeah, the last resort.
Resort. The last resort I use in here is when, for some reason, I'm trying to get some good crossface, but my opponent is doing a good job having this arm in here, and I feel like my crossface is not being enough to apply pressure, and I'm not getting to flatten him down, or he's posting his hand inside my armpit in here, and my crossface is not working well. So situations when the opponent is sideways, because this is what he wants to do. He's sideways to avoid, he's sideways trying to avoid my crossface, and I have to move and build up something from here. So if I can't have access to my opponent's armpit or either spine, so one great movement that I can do here is, of course, always walk against the hips, close the distance to his shield, but connect 10 fingers like that. So if I connect my fingers and I have my hand behind my, you can make your upper body stronger, and make my my elbows work in this situation. So one elbow, my elbow that is operating behind my opponent's back, I have to pinch like here, and my another elbow I have to wide. So every time I feel my opponent concave in the posture and pushing, trying to create distance, what I should do, pinch my elbow on the spine and then wide the other elbow. So when I wide the other elbow, as you guys can see, you can keep your body stronger. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm not only using my elbow to turn his body, I'm using my elbow action about widening this, but my head position makes the entire work. So if I just try wide elbow, Fernando keeps his body strong, it's not gonna work. I'm not gonna win this battle. But once I wide, I pinch my elbow on his spine and back, so I lean forward. When he tries keeping his body sideways, you can keep your body sideways. Go ahead, buddy. It's not gonna work, and then I can eventually shoot my crossface and then build up either a setup where I have arm triangle or whatever I'm looking for. So we have literally to pinch the elbow against the spine and the other one with flare. Once we flare and create this type of mechanic, the head position drives this elbow away. Boom. And then we can twist the opponent's body. Because that was what we were looking for. But he got turned his body, and then he's hiding his arms, protecting the inside position. Fuck it, I'm not getting crossface. I'm not getting good head position, so I'm stuck in here. He's safe. What I do, this thing, I'm always going to be available. It's always going to be available for me. So I move my body forward. Sorry, I lean my body forward, and then I connect my hands. Once I connect my hands, I pull everything down and I control the middle of his back. Keep your body strong. Boom. Right now what I do, flare elbow. Once I flare my elbow, I lean away and forward like this, diagonal there. So when Fernando tries to bring his elbows down, back in place, it's too late. His elbows are already above his head, and then I can always work to pin him and build up my crossface. Same thing happens inside here. Same thing happens inside knee cut scenarios where my knee got stuck and he's sideways. I can use the same type of elbow setup where my head position applies pressure, and same thing happens 3/4 mount. Once we are here, my opponent is sideways. I'm not getting to get some good crossface grip, so what I do, I swim around until I connect my hands. Can be either inside or can be either outside straight, and he has his biceps tied, his biceps pulled, sorry, and I cannot like apply more pressure than that. So what I do, elbow against the spine, and then he keeps his body strong sideways. I lean forward in the flare elbow. So the more I do that, the more I can go up, and eventually I'm gonna get my pass. And then once we are on the mount, everything's about drive elbows to above the head, and then build up some nice underhooks to work to finish. So this type of, I don't know even how to say this, elbow crossface. How can I call this?
Elbow flare.
Yeah.
You're flaring your elbow.
Yeah, this action of flaring my elbows is always the last resort I have when I lose my crossface option. Crossface, again, is the best path you guys can take. So if you guys get crossface, traditional side of 3/4, beautiful, go ahead. But if you guys ended up losing the shot because your opponent is doing a good job turning the body sideways and keeping the inside position, connect fingers, flare elbows, and once the elbows are flare, just lean forward, dive in your head position away from your opponent's body, and then you guys can open mount, can open knee cuts, can open like pummeling actions, can open all the scenarios possible, to be honest. So the guy can just freak out, start spazzing, raging, and then you guys can just pin him straight to the mount, build up underhooks, and then find a way better position that you guys were before. So crossface is the goal. Last case, flaring elbows, it's always an option. So yeah, pretty much that. Enjoy it. Okay guys, we just finished the section. Again, we broke down half guard. Of course, when you are fighting, training against a friend, training partner, whatever, we broke down in sections: shields, hips, shoulders, frames, crossface, head positions, just for you guys understand in a clear way how it works. But right now, in the next section, you're gonna see all those concepts together, working through some better picture instead of only half guard. We were dealing with half guard in this in this last section, step by step. Right now we are combining everything, and I'm giving you guys options how to use all the concepts right away. Moving from shields until you guys get the mount. And it's pretty simple. Just keep in mind that half guard is more important. Not you guys have, okay, so I'm good at this sequence, I'm good at this position, so I'm good at this following movement. No, I'm good at concept. So I know that flattening the hips, flattening the shoulders, I'm gonna get whatever I want. So just keep in mind, flattening hips, flattening shoulders, diving forward, angling the body, those things will be way more effective than the techniques I'm going to teach you guys. Of course, those techniques are the techniques I mostly use at the gym, and it's going to be helpful for you guys, of course. But while you guys are developing your half guard skills, pay attention on the concepts from inside this scenario. angling body, diving forward, head position, flattening hips, flattening shoulders, beating shields by walking, beating frames by applying pressure, and then you guys can succeed from inside half guard. All right? Enjoy it.